So, Alexan, good morning. Week 49 of 2025, and here are my 5 minutes of fame this week. What to cover from Djibouti via Odol, Burma, Hargeisa, all the way down via Garowe and Bosaso, down to Kismayo. It's all happening. Lot to cover, but that is not really the headline. That's not what's attracting our attention. It seems a lot of us are focused on what someone in the US said about Somalia. I spoke to some of our folks back home, some of our politicians, some of our leaders, and the consensus was the best thing to do was to ignore him. And I agree. There's no point of shouting back at someone who's just shouting. You know, the way I look at it is like this. As you walk to work, or sometimes you go for a walk in the morning, there are a lot of challenges. You might see some dog barking at you, you might see the odd cat or the odd bird doing something from a tree. If you want to react to everything, you will be wasting your time. So if the dog barks and you park back, you might as well end up living with the dog in its kennel. It's just anyway, that's just the way I look at it. So we'll leave that for the time being. So this week 49, we've got 50, 51, 52 to go. So winding down the end of 2025. So I'll be covering the next few weeks, looking back, what I call looking back to look forward. In other words, reflecting on what we covered over the last 52 weeks and projecting and looking forward and thinking about what we're going to do and what ideas are there to be explored and so on. In any case, what I want to talk about this week is about the role of women in Somali politics. Why? Why am I picking on this? Because I was watching videos from the Somali religious leaders meeting. Apparently, it happens once a year, and this was the third time. And I follow that seriously because I want to know what our religious leaders thinking about. What are they doing? How they're helping the community? What role are they playing in rebuilding the country and so on? So while watching this year, I came across a very interesting video which I shared with some of you in other social media forums, fora. And there was a young lady who gave a very interesting talk, and that inspired me to write about the role of women in Somali politics. Hence, this week my focus is, if you read down, I'm talking about that issue. So I guess the valid question that you're probably asking yourself is, what has that got to do with Somali politics, or what is the relevance? I think it's relevant. I think it's important that we shouldn't silence 50% of our community, of our people. We need to hear our women, ladies, girls, who are in education, in medicine, in law, in all the different fields, to contribute to the rebuilding of our country. Now, that's easy to say than done, because I know the problems, and that's what I'll write about, and I'll let you read and reflect and comment and get back to me on this. So that is really this week. Next week and the week after, I'll be going back to reflect on technology, mobile money, all those other interesting things that I know a little bit about, and they also role in rebuilding the country. There were a few emails that were really asking interesting questions. I'll reply and write my comments, my responses, but I have to think about them a bit more because they were very considered questions, and I will reply. Good news about the solar energy developments in Somalia. I'm happy to hear those things. Better late than never. I will stop here. My 5 minutes are up. Comments, feedback, as always, welcome. Mohammed waa idin salaamaya. See you.